we'll talk about Sonoma. We'll briefly go through Xfinity. So most of that race was pretty uneventful. Bunch of leech drivers that pretty much hogged up about 95% of everything, and one of them ended up winning. Larson embarrassed himself trying to get around Amarola from some weird incident. I think he actually hit the tires in his car just then, like went straight in the hairpin. So that was weird. But either way, Amarola got a win. So I would say good for him, but it's in a lower series where he has no business being in. And I think this is his actual first legitimate win ever in the series, because 2007 he got like driver swapped for Hamlin because Auto Rockin' Mation, whatever, wanted him to be in the car for that track and not Amarola. But Amarola started the race, and then Amarola had to leave, get out of the car because of that, and Hamlin got back in that car and then won. But then on the actual race official results, it put Amarola as the winner. Very wonky circumstance. Then his other two wins came in 2017, I think, but both of them were at restrictor plate tracks, which in this era, really, I don't really find much value in those anymore. So I think this is like his first legitimate win where he was just good, but it took a lot, I guess, to have happen. So, I don't know. Almirola's been a weird case of just getting odd wins for like the entirety of his career. So I don't know. Can't really be happy for him because he's winning in a series that really he has no business being in, and all that. But if the narrative is true, then I mean, it kind of shows that Stewart-Haas is just that bad because they do have drivers capable of winning. But what does that say? I mean, Ryan Preece went to an ARCA race and won. Like no shit. Like, I expect a Cup driver that's in the Cup Series to win in lower series. It just feels pretty damn obvious. So, I don't know. As for the Cup race itself, it was just such a mid race. It was just so average, painfully average at times, that it was just kind of infuriating. More so on the broadcast, because the broadcast was very just infuriating as usual. But maybe more so this week because Truex won. We'll get into that tangent, but let's just try to go from beginning to end. So we did have one green flag pass for Lee. That's almost as on better or just on average or better than what the All-Star race had. So there's that. That's definitely wild to think about, and it didn't take wild tire strats to have that happen. So that's cool. We got our caution around lap 51. I mean, even before then, let me just say, whatever rating I give this race, it's not going to be because, we needed stage cautions to solve all this. No. I like it. I like the fact that there's no yellows. I like the fact that a race is just a race and we don't have scripted yellows, because that's what stages are. I don't mind having stage points, but stage cautions are bullshit. I've never been a fan of it. But I was happy that it was playing out. Different strategies made the race interesting, and all that. I liked it. But then we get a yellow on lap 51 for a bullshit reason. Just a bullshit, unneeded reason. Unless we get like full beginning to end of that tire. From what I saw on the TV, the tire rolled down the pit road. It hit the outside pit road wall, and then once it hit that, it bounced back, and looked like it was going to be eventually rolling towards a pit stall. Now, I don't know if that actually did, or if it was in the middle. Either way, no matter how you want to slice it, it's bullshit that had to be yellow. There's walls there. A crew member can go out, retrieve that tire, and come back. It was not during an active pit stop. There was no need for it. It was so easily preventable. An unnecessary yellow. It was just absurd. It was stupid. And then you have dumbass Clint Bowyer being in the goddamn booth, being like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, we got a yellow." It's like, Bowyer, you are the most insufferable piece of shit I've ever seen. No, we don't want to go into the tangent of him going into like a public restaurant during a pandemic when he was like a party at 12, which was comically irresponsible for a driver or a public figure to be doing something that's stupid. Also causing with Spingate. But just the comments in the fucking booth drive me out of my fucking mind. Like, there's weeks where I just don't want to fucking watch. This is one of them. There's a lot of other personal shit that I don't want to get into, but it makes it hard to watch when you got people that brain dead in the fucking booth. Like, now people want to meme on Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip, I don't ever remember being this insufferable. I don't know. And I just think Bowyer's just such a shill for Fox. And whatever they tell him to do, he just does it. They're probably telling him, hey, be more like Darrell Waltrip. We need that. Our analytics show we need a Darrell Waltrip in the booth. And then he's like that. But there's no charm. There's no charisma. And Bowyer is so obnoxious in the booth. And why would you advocate for a race to be stopped for a yellow? Not even for like a yellow where it was like, okay, it was very obvious that needed to be yellow. No, for a yellow that didn't need to happen. And he's championing that. He's so happy about it. It's so disgusting. That is not the job of the broadcaster, to be so just blatantly opinionated. Or not opinionated. I don't know what the right word is. So biased. I don't know. It's gross. It's so gross. I'm tired of it. And then you have Bowyer going on these stints about how Truex wins these boring races and he just ruins the race and all this other shit. I'm sorry, I got my fanboy cap on, so I might be a little bit fucking biased. But I'm gonna take that off so I don't have my bias cap on. But Bowyer, what is wrong? What is wrong with having a driver win a race because they were just that good? What is so wrong about that? We've had races for almost a century where drivers win in dominating fashion. That doesn't make the race boring. We can go on another tangent about how the broadcast doesn't properly show battles happening throughout the field or missing key elements or other bullshit. It's obnoxious for him to say something like that. Unless it's like the wording, I don't know. Wouldn't it be more appropriate to say it's impressive how Truex wins these races in dominating fashion to such a point where you can't even like dispute it? Like, he clearly won in an era where that is so rare to find. To say something like that, to downplay Truex, is mind-boggling. Do we even have to go on the tangent of his career trajectory and how the first 10 years he didn't really do much, and then the last 10 in his mid-30s or whatever, he just exploded out in wins in a way that's not quite like Kerry Gant, but just so unusual of a career path, and where everything led for him to be in this point, to have 33 wins in his career, to be in his mid-40s and being almost as competitive as he's ever been this season. To downplay that and just being all like, boo-hoo, he won a dominating race. Who fucking cares if the rest of the race is really good? That's not going to matter. Okay, maybe it might suck. We're not going to get a side-by-side finish or something like crazy, but that's not the only thing that carries a race. It is just one element of like 10 other elements of a fucking race, and it's bullshit. It is utter garbage for him to make these points and statements, and for him to... It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. I don't want him in the booth. I straight up just do not want him in the fucking booth. And the last couple of weeks, I wasn't watching Day 500 live streams on Twitch, which I honestly probably should have, so I don't have to hear. Because when I have weeks where I'm just laying in bed and I don't feel like doing anything because I'm literally so mentally trapped and just broken, I just want to stay in my fucking bed. I just want to just stay in my fucking bed. Because I can't sleep. And then I have no choice but to listen to the race because I just don't want to get out of bed. Not because, I'm fucking busy. No, it's not that. And then I hear shit like that in the broadcast. Or, from fucking Clint Bitch Boy. Just saying these, like, absurd things. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's wrong. And I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. Like, why... I just had to get that out. Fanboy cap off. It's back on now. Happy Truex won. I think a lot of his personal life stuff has helped make him just feel better, or at least drive better. I can't even say drive better, but ever since he, I guess, hooked up with another girl, he's actually running really, really well. At least this season in general compared to last year. So I can't even say last year was back. He was like a top 10 in point driver, and he was actually running really good. Just had a lot of bad luck, but something about this year, at least I can say that much, has put him in positions where he can win, whether it's good luck or just overall better cars. I don't know, but it's funny how he was going through all this girlfriend struggle, wife struggles and stuff, and then off season, I don't know if it was off season or I don't know when they like broke up, but something definitely changed. It made him better. I don't know, but hey, that's cool. I'm happy for it. But as far as the race is concerned, it was such an average, painfully average race. People on 10, 15 lap old tires can hang on to the top 5, like Chase Elliott and everything, like really well. And tire wear didn't seem like it mattered too much, which again goes to another tangent of how last year they were exploding all the time. Now this year, they don't burn out at all. We could have Kyle Larson do a burnout for the entire lap in North Wilkesboro and the tires don't pop. Truex can do a burnout for like 2 consecutive minutes and nothing happens. I'm sorry, that's just like that's absurd. The tires are such a ridiculously hard compound that nothing wears. And I also these Gen 7 cars, which are primarily a glorified IMSA car. You would think at least if they're gonna, take Jim France's wet dream idea of taking an IMSA car and then like Frankensteining it to be a cup car, you would think it would at least perform well on a track. But not really, no. Coda sort of does, but the ending of these gets it turns into such a shit show that all the good faith that it had gets ruined. But the race was so just middle of the road, average. It's kind of like a typical Sonoma race, but I will give it at least one knock below average just because that tires thing that need to be yellow. Clint Bowyer's ramblings about how Truex wins boring races and other sorts of shit is just depressingly aggravating. That doesn't make any goddamn sense, but it drives me insane. It's so bullshit. And then you got people on Twitter shitting on Truex because he wins boring races, and what the fuck is he supposed to do? Like, how's that his fault? Truex is a rare one, not even say 1 in a million, but just a rare instance where when he wins races, there's really no doubt that he like won it. It wasn't like a Mickey win or like a bullshit win. Like most of his wins, he just straight up was just the best car all day, and he was. And what the fuck is so wrong with that? It drives me insane. We can talk about the Gen 7 car not performing on road courses or just the tires degrade. We could talk about that. That's bad. But let's not sit here and fucking put blame on Truex. It's bullshit. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 4. It might have been a 5, but that tire did not need to be yellow. That was bullshit. That ruined the flow of the race. Didn't need to happen. And it was another instance of NASCAR desperately trying to find an excuse to have yellow. And should I give it a fucking 4? Fuck it. I'll give it a 5. Right in the middle of the road. Because now I'm thinking, at least we didn't have a shit show end like Coda. I appreciate that. That's the bar we're at. But I appreciate the fact that it just was a race. It went green. We didn't have green-white checkers and people dive-bombing, bulldozing people. Brian Blaney got bulldozed, but it wasn't like 10 other people getting bulldozed. So at least I will appreciate that. So you know what? We'll just go 5. We'll just go right in the middle because I appreciate that. It's like the only praise I can think of is that it didn't devolve into stupid bullshit. But also because Infineon or Sonoma, dare I say, is a relatively decently designed track where it doesn't have corkscrew first corners where it's like a 90-degree loop where it's like this stupid tight, like the way my hand is positioned here. And it causes just things to go just wrong. So I appreciate that. So yeah, we'll just give it a 5. Just right in the middle of the road. This really shouldn't be the gold standard. Sonoma's never been like a mind-bogglingly amazing track, but I do think tire wear just almost is like nearly non-existent or just so little that it just does not matter. And that is a big problem. I appreciate some of the race going green for the most part and everything. So I don't know. It was such an average race. Just Bowyer just infuriates me beyond belief. And that's really my biggest takeaway from this race. And him being so happy about a caution being called for a fucking tire that didn't need to happen. I'm sorry. That should not have been a yellow. Tyler Reddick did like the 1,000 IQ strat, which was actually decently like a smart idea. Instead of limiting around the track for like 2+ miles or however long Infineon is, however long the track is on 3 tires, he decided to do that, which I thought was smart. It was a good decision. The NASCAR penalized them, so that gives the incentive or it's stupid. Sometimes the rules are meant to be broken. I feel like that is a understandable like decision to make that I don't think should be penalized when he's already being penalized for having a blown tire and he's already going to be basically last anyways, or in the 30s. So what difference does that make? It's stupid. So now the incentive is if you blow a tire and if you blow a tire in that specific part of the track, don't loop it around like Tyler Reddick did. No, limp it around the track and bring out an artificial, or not artificial, but a very preventable yellow, so we can have more restarts and Clint Bowyer can freaking come. So I don't know if it's just ridiculous. So that kind of is annoying. That Reddick did a decent thing, or at least a smart thing, or at least something that would make sense to do, and then he gets penalized for that, and just I don't know, but whatever. I guess that's NASCAR's attempt saying, hey, I don't know, I don't know. Maybe they're just they see my tinfoil hat. They're just either pissed that he did that because that didn't give him a chance to throw out a yellow, because they were probably going to throw out a yellow for that, but they couldn't because he went down pit road, so that messed things up for their ratings, because they're going to blame that on ratings. I don't know, but just yeah. I don't even think I have much more to say. I actually had a lot more to say than I thought, but that race really pissed me off with the Bowyer shit. So yeah. Didn't really feel like making a video on this because I just have not been in the right headspace, and I don't know if I ever will for a long time. So just a lot of stuff going on. I can't make a video talk about it because anytime I make a video talking about anything, I get shit for it. So I can't ever talk about it. So I have to be like briefly in these videos. So I'm done. That's my thoughts. Middle of the road. I thought it was a pretty average race. We got a week off, so I don't know if that's good or not. But going to Nashville might be all right. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah. Either way, I'm done. See ya.